Blake Lively thought she had everything under control, until the shocking truth started to unravel. What began as a Hollywood scandal has now escalated into a full-blown legal war, with bombshell evidence, leaked messages, and courtroom drama that no one saw coming. But here's the twist. Blake's own words may be coming back to haunt her. As secret recordings and behind-the-scenes footage emerge, one question remains. Is Blake the real victim? Or is this a carefully crafted narrative ready to collapse? The secret video that changes everything. For weeks, Blake Lively's legal team pushed the narrative that Justin Baldoni crossed the line while filming their movie. She described an uncomfortable, inappropriate moment during a silent montage scene, claiming Justin whispered something suggestive and got too close for comfort. Her supporters rallied behind her, convinced this was yet another case of a powerful man taking advantage of his position. But then, everything changed. TMZ got their hands on the actual footage, and what it revealed was nothing like what Blake described. The video showed Blake and Justin laughing, giggling, and openly flirting while filming. At one point, she even leans into him, whispering something while smiling. There was no sign of discomfort, no inappropriate touching, nothing that even remotely supported her claims. And just like that, the internet exploded. Fans who initially stood by Blake suddenly weren't so sure. How could she claim to feel unsafe when the video painted an entirely different picture? The most damning moment? Blake playfully responding to Justin, joking about her body makeup and scent. If she was truly uncomfortable, why would she engage in that kind of banter? Megyn Kelly wasted no time tearing the allegations apart. She accused Blake of twisting reality to suit her narrative, turning a harmless moment into something sinister. And as more details came out, it became clear this wasn't the only time Blake had exaggerated events to fit her version of the story. But this was just the beginning. The real game changer? The leaked text messages. And let's just say, after reading them, the entire internet was left in shock. Text messages that flipped the script. When the leaked videos surfaced, many thought the drama had reached its peak. But then, the text messages dropped, and what they revealed completely shattered Blake Lively's credibility. Screenshots of Blake's private messages to Justin Baldoni were leaked, and they painted a picture that directly contradicted her claims. Instead of a woman avoiding her alleged harasser, Blake's texts showed something else entirely. She was the one initiating conversations, sending flirty messages, and even inviting Justin over while she was breastfeeding. That's right, Blake was the one making moves. The messages were undeniable. She repeatedly reached out to Justin, complimenting him, joking about their chemistry, and even expressing excitement about working together. And yet, this was the same person accusing him of making her feel uncomfortable on set? Megyn Kelly wasted no time calling out the massive contradiction. She pointed out how Blake's version of events didn't match reality, making people wonder, was this an orchestrated attack? But things got even messier. Justin's team fired back, releasing even more messages, including one that completely destroyed Blake's credibility. In it, she referred to their behind-the-scenes interactions as playful fun, the exact opposite of what she was claiming in court. At this point, the internet was divided. Some believed Blake had exaggerated the situation, using the movement for personal gain. Others felt Justin was using selective leaks to manipulate public opinion. But regardless of which side people were on, one thing was clear. This battle wasn't going to end anytime soon. And that's when the lawsuits started flying. Blake Lively wasn't going down without a fight. After weeks of social media backlash and explosive leaks, she officially sued Justin Baldoni, claiming harassment, defamation, and intentional emotional distress. In her filing, she insisted that the leaked texts and videos were misleading, edited, and taken out of context to manipulate public perception. But Justin wasn't about to let her control the narrative. His response? A $400 million lawsuit. That's not just a countersuit. That's a full-scale legal attack designed to make headlines and force Blake into an impossible situation. His lawsuit accused Blake of fabricating allegations to sabotage his career and control their film. He claimed she had used the Me Too movement as a weapon, knowing the damage it could do to a man's reputation. The legal community had mixed reactions. Some believed Justin was justified, arguing that Blake's claims had already fallen apart under scrutiny. Others saw the $400 million demand as a media stunt, an exaggerated figure meant to pressure Blake into settling. But here's where it gets even more twisted. Blake's own legal strategy started mirroring the tactics she accused Justin of. First, she demanded a gag order, arguing that Justin's team was trying the case in the media. But wait, wasn't Blake the one who leaked her accusations to the New York Times before even filing her lawsuit? Now that the leaks weren't working in her favor, she suddenly wanted to silence Justin? The hypocrisy wasn't lost on the public. And just when it seemed things couldn't get any messier, Ryan Reynolds' complete silence became impossible to ignore. Was he strategically staying out of it, or was something even bigger happening behind the scenes? Blake Lively had spent years carefully crafting her public image. With a Hollywood power couple status alongside Ryan Reynolds, she seemed untouchable. But now, that perfect image was beginning to crack. When the scandal first broke, everyone expected Ryan to defend his wife. A carefully worded Instagram post, a public show of support, something, but instead, nothing. Ryan stayed completely silent, avoiding the media and refusing to address the controversy. And in Hollywood, silence speaks louder than words. The rumors started swirling. Was he secretly distancing himself from Blake? Did he know something the public didn't? Some insiders even suggested that Blake's credibility issues weren't new, that she had a history of demanding control on set and clashing with directors. And that wasn't the only problem. The industry began turning its back on Blake. She had been a Hollywood darling for years, but now, the cracks in her reputation were impossible to ignore. Producers started backing away, major studios grew hesitant, and suddenly, Blake wasn't the industry's favorite anymore. But here's where things got really bad. The scandal completely overshadowed the movie. Despite its box office success, nobody was talking about the film anymore. All people cared about was Blake versus Justin. And let's not forget, Justin had his own connections in Hollywood. Powerful producers and insiders started rallying behind him, hinting that Blake wasn't as innocent as she claimed. Suddenly, this wasn't just a legal battle, it was a war for credibility, and Blake was losing. The worst part? The internet was watching everything unfold in real time, and social media wasn't exactly on her side. Hollywood may be divided, but the internet is ruthless. And right now, Blake is losing the public battle. When the scandal first broke, people were quick to support her. After all, we've seen powerful men in Hollywood exposed before. But as more evidence surfaced, the leaked texts, the video footage, and her legal contradictions, public opinion shifted fast. Suddenly, people weren't just questioning Blake's story, they were comparing her to Amber Heard. Twitter and Reddit exploded. Users pointed out the inconsistencies in her claims, the way she tried to silence Justin after publicly shaming him, and how every new piece of evidence seemed to contradict her accusations. But the most damning blow? The media started changing its tone. Initially, outlets ran with the Blake as the victim narrative, but as Justin's lawsuit gained traction, headlines shifted. Suddenly, journalists were digging into Blake's past, uncovering old stories of her clashing with directors, making unreasonable demands, and controlling set environments. At this point, Blake was running out of moves. She rushed to secure a deposition from a crisis PR expert, claiming Justin was behind a smear campaign. But legal experts pointed out the flaw in her argument. If she was telling the truth, why was she so desperate to suppress new evidence? The reality was setting in. Blake Lively was losing control of the narrative. And as the trial date approached, the stakes couldn't be higher. Because if she lost in court, it wouldn't just be her reputation at risk, it would be her entire career. March 2026, the trial date is officially set. And with both sides refusing to back down, one thing is clear: this legal war is far from over. Blake has spent months trying to control the narrative, but Justin's team isn't letting up. With more leaks rumored to drop, her credibility is hanging by a thread. Her legal team is scrambling, trying to block Justin from releasing more private messages, but it may already be too late. Every new revelation chips away at her defense, and the court of public opinion has already turned against her. But the real wild card? Ryan Reynolds. So far, he's stayed out of it, but Hollywood insiders claim he's quietly preparing for the fallout. Could Ryan distance himself from Blake to protect his career? Would he abandon her entirely if things got worse? Meanwhile, Justin is pushing forward full force. His legal team is confident they can prove Blake manipulated the situation, and with so much evidence in his favor, some believe he could actually win. But what happens if he does? If Justin wins the lawsuit, it could change everything, not just for Blake, but for how Hollywood handles accusations like these. Could this set a new precedent? Would actors start suing over false claims more often? One thing is certain: Blake Lively is facing the biggest crisis of her career. And when the trial begins, the truth will finally come out. The evidence that could change everything. Just when people thought this case couldn't get any wilder, new leaks surfaced, and they might be the most explosive yet. Rumors are swirling that Justin Baldoni's legal team is sitting on even more damning evidence, and if it's released, it could completely dismantle Blake Lively's case. According to insiders, Justin has more text messages, unreleased voice notes, and emails that could prove Blake wasn't just exaggerating, she was actively manipulating the situation. One source close to the case claims that Blake sent private messages to producers complaining about Justin, but those same producers allegedly rejected her claims because they didn't align with reality. And here's the kicker: more behind-the-scenes footage might exist. If another video surfaces that contradicts Blake's accusations, it would be game over for her legal team. Meanwhile, Justin isn't backing down. His lawyers are pushing for full disclosure, demanding that all messages and footage related to the case be released, without edits or selective context. They argue that if Blake is telling the truth, she should have nothing to hide. Blake's team, however, is fighting to block the release of additional evidence, claiming it would violate her privacy and create a biased public perception before the trial even begins. But let's be real, that argument is falling apart fast. The court of public opinion has already turned against her, and every attempt to suppress information just makes her look more guilty. At this point, the real question isn't just about what evidence exists. It's about whether Blake's team can survive the full truth coming out. And if they can't, her Hollywood career might be over for good. Ryan Reynolds' next move. Will he stand by Blake? For months, Ryan Reynolds has stayed completely silent on the allegations surrounding his wife, but now, with the trial looming and new evidence threatening to unravel Blake's entire case, he might be forced to take a stand. Sources inside Hollywood claim that Ryan has been privately consulting with PR teams and legal experts. Not for Blake, but for himself. And that raises a huge question: is he planning to distance himself from his wife? Ryan is one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood. He has multiple blockbuster projects lined up, massive brand deals, and a public image that's clean and controversy-free. But if Blake's case crumbles, sticking by her could damage his reputation too. Some insiders believe Ryan is already preparing an exit strategy, waiting to see how the case unfolds before making a final decision. But others think he's playing it smart, choosing silence now so that if the worst happens, he can publicly distance himself without looking like he abandoned his wife. And then there's the wild card, Blake's counterattack. If Ryan does walk away, would Blake expose more secrets? Could this turn into a full-scale Hollywood divorce war? Right now, it's all speculation, but one thing is clear: Ryan Reynolds' next move could change everything. If he speaks out in support of Blake, it might save her career, or it could drag him down with her. If he stays silent, it will confirm what many already suspect. Blake Lively is on her own.